All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. As always, I'm Alex. I've got Chris. I've got Adam. We've got beers to drink. We've got sports to talk about, and we're just going to roll through this. Second episode on YouTube, or multiple videos, but second major episode. Excited. Good things.
Yeah. If you're not subscribed, make sure you come on over and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube.
Spread the word. Let people know. We'll give you some free stuff. If you go subscribe still, we're still doing that.
Yeah.
So let us know. We'll give you some stickers, some koozies, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, beer, Bacon, Bros on YouTube. Find us, subscribe, like Chris was saying.
Yeah, we'll mail it directly to you as well. We were just going to do the first 25, but we got more, so we're going all the way to 50. So the next 25, you guys can get your koozie and sticker mailed directly to you. You just got to let us know you subscribe.
Yeah. So this episode, we're just gonna do 2 beer reviews. We're going to run through the NFL draft. We've created a mock draft of our own.
Mock draft of the mock drafts.
Yeah, mock draft of mock drafts, essentially how we did
is,
it.
Again, from
Dissolve. But it's probably going to take a while, so it's probably going to be one of the
brewery
major, if not
was it the last episode?
We'll probably throw some other things in. I don't think it was the last episode. It was the one before YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So let's go ahead and just jump right in here. So the first beer we have is, again, from Dissolver Brewery. Was it the last episode? I believe we had a.
I don't think it was the last episode. It was the one before YouTube. Yeah, because it had the alien head and everything in it.
Yep. So we recently have done another Dissolver Brewery beer, and it was the Kolsch. This one is the Hell's Lager, Never Ending Sky. Again, has an alien head on it, kind of trippy colors.
Got the same Illuminati.
All seeing eye
pyramid going on. So
there's definitely a theme with their can designs.
Yeah. But and if you are watching us on YouTube and you want to see what some of our former beers look like, you want to check out the cans, you can find us on Instagram, beer_bacon_bros. Make sure you follow us on there as well. And you can see a lot of our stuff from a lot of the episodes before we've transitioned to YouTube.
So it is a 5.4%.
Oh, nice.
Again, it's out of Asheville, North Carolina, on Lexington Avenue.
You know exactly where it's at, or is it on the can?
It's listed on the,
I was
like, it's listed on the can.
Dang,
okay.
I've been doing some personal research up in the Asheville area. So
just 47 breweries up there.
I know Asheville. And we've had the conversation before about it. I feel like Asheville is the brewery capital of the world, but apparently,
at least of the United States, I would say.
Apparently, it's not. Apparently, Chicago is, but we'll get into that later.
Is it of the United States or the world?
Yeah, that's for another episode. That's for the United States. So
Chicago's number one.
Yeah,
is it per
capita?
Okay.
So they have the most breweries per capita, apparently. But Asheville's at least got the best breweries per capita. A little free marketing there for our city of Asheville. But
what kind of beer is this one?
It's a Hell's Lager.
Hell's Lager.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow me away. It really, you know what it tastes like? A Kona Big Wave. Like, in all honesty.
Ooh. I'm not sure that's a good thing.
I mean, it's not. it's eh.
Yeah. Here, take another sip and pass it on down.
It's
tastes better than a Kona Big Wave, but not a whole lot better.
So that's what I'm saying. It's eh. It's not the.
If you're a lager fan, this seems to be a rather easy drinker, a rather smooth drinker.
I think the Kolsch was definitely better.
The Kolsch is definitely better, and we didn't even rate the Kolsch technically that high, but this is not IPA, not sour, not flavorful.
Do you have any of that left?
Any of this?
Yeah.
You can take a sip if you want.
I'm about to compare this because.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's similar.
That's very similar.
So I'm sipping on a Kona Brewing Company.
This has a little bit more like citrus come through, I think.
Yeah.
This has a little bit more fruity come through.
Yeah, it's a big wave. The Golden Ale, yeah, from Kona Brewing. So
it's a very drinkable beer though. I like it.
We'll rate one of those next time around. Yeah. But
I like this. I feel like you could go a while drinking one of these. Yeah, it's not gonna knock you on your ass.
Yeah, but still, it's not. I don't know. It's not great, but it's not bad either. It's an average beer.
It really is actually like Alex said. It's something that sometimes when you get into craft beers, you can only have like 2 or 3 of them before you have to change it up, or you have to go to a lighter beer or something like that. This is something that
you could sit and drink all day if you wanted.
I mean, you could drink one of these
day.
and be like, wow, this is, I didn't even taste that. But
if you're sitting at the brewery for a while and you want something you can just drink multiples of, this is one of them.
Yeah.
But still, from the Kolsch, I gave it a 7.3. This is like a 6.9.
6.9?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me make sure I go ahead and take our notes. I don't know how to put the alien triangle in the dissolver. And if we didn't mention it, we probably did it on last time.
Which one was the Kolsch that you're talking about?
The dissolver Kolsch. You gave it a 7.1.
Damn, I was going to put this one at 7.5, and I think I'm going to stick with it then.
You think this is a little bit better than the Kolsch?
I like this one just because of how easy it is to drink.
7.5. You said 6.9 for you, Adam? Okay.
You could easily get a 6-pack of that and drink the whole 6-pack and not be a mess, and not feel terrible. You not feel like you just ingested a bunch of calories and carbs like you would with normal heavy crafty beers.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
The drinkability on this one is a big factor for me.
I got you.
I'll give it a 7.1. I'm with you guys. I think it's kind of in not in a grade terms, but kind of in that C rating almost.
Yeah.
Not
maybe like a C, maybe like a C plus. I might give you a C plus.
I mean, probably not even the first. Like, even if we went to dissolver, I probably would grab the Kolsch before I would grab the
lager.
Yeah, I gave the Kolsch a 7.7. So yeah, that follows my theory. I would grab the Kolsch before I probably wouldn't even drink this when we were at the brewery. Not in an offensive way, but because I'd rather try some other things after drinking a Kolsch.
Yep, I know what you're saying.
When you get that thing, you want to know. So, and we've said it about some beers. If your boyfriend does not drink beer,
this could be a beer.
He only drinks Bud Light. This is something you might want to put him on if you're,
just
trying to
anybody. It doesn't have to be just boyfriends.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be just boyfriends.
Sorry,
anybody that's
anybody, any friend or
Michelob Ultra drinker,
human being or non-human being that doesn't drink beer. I mean, there are aliens on this can, so I don't know. You might. It could be. You might be friends with aliens. I don't know.
That would be kind of wild. If the aliens come down, is this the first beer that we hand them because there's an alien on the can?
I feel like
I don't know. If they don't look like that, they might be offended. They might be like, "Hey, we're not no little needleheads, okay?"
But I feel like we've had a couple cans that had aliens on them now.
It's a common theme, especially when it's like some weird beers.
Or like, why wouldn't you give them Elysium space dust?
Yeah, or
could do that.
Sauce.
Astronaut sauce. So
there's a couple of them out there.
That might be a category we need to do one night.
Space beers?
Yeah, the first beer that we would hand an alien.
Before we move on, I got a little fun fact. Before I screw up the name of it, I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Go for it.
This thing NASA did with the furthest, like the
Hubble telescope?
No, it's like one of the satellites that we've sent out. It's on the Voyager. It's the golden record is what they call it.
Okay.
So on this golden record, it's apparently a bunch of symbols and drawings and stuff on it that we believe Earth. Some sort of intelligent life form could be able to read and decipher what we were trying to get, the message we were trying to convey.
Okay.
And if you actually play the record, it has like the sounds of the Earth, and it's a bunch of different content and just like music and stuff like that. It's basically kind of like hey, this is. We're Earth and this is what we're about kind of thing. They put it on the side of this Voyager satellite.
So if you like, was it Rick and Morty with all the big heads and you have to sing to...
Yeah, something like that.
This is what we play on Earth. Here's some Beethoven.
Oh God, is that what they would do though? Like
I'd hope not.
Beethoven?
So the music is specifically, or the sounds, I should say, as NASA describes it, is selected specifically to portray the diversity of life and culture on Earth. So it's just basically a way of us saying that some sort of intelligent life form, if they were able to figure out a way to play it, be like, hey, we're a diverse group.
This is what Earth was about.
They definitely put Post Malone on this.
I don't think Post Malone was like even alive when they launched this.
Oh,
so
okay.
How far? Yeah, that's wild. That would be wild.
Okay, all right. As long, you know what? Maybe they put Elvis Presley on there. Who knows? That's probably like, if that's how long ago it was, maybe that's what they did. Is they just put Elvis Presley on there.
So. But either way, Never Ending Sky. Roughly, what'd you say you gave it, a 7.5, Alex?
Yeah, 7.5.
7.5.
So yeah, low sevens is about where we have this beer.
7.5, 7.169. So, yeah, in the mid sevens. And again, for those that since we're doing this probably for the first time on YouTube, explaining our scale, you're rarely going to find us giving anything in the nines.
It has to be a really good beer for a 9.
It's got to be, yeah. For us,
Fantastic.
basically, we're saying if it's a 9, we would drive probably an hour to go get it. Like we would actually on our weekend, drive to go drink this beer or drink this brewery. So 8s is something, you travel across town, pick up a 6-pack.
You go out of your way. You go out of your way.
Go out
to
of your
find
way
it.
for it. Guaranteed first beer that you'd be drinking at that brewery. In the 7s, likely would be a beer that you would drink while you're at the brewery. If it's at the grocery store, you'd certainly pick it up. Something that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, if you're at a
recommending.
restaurant, it's on tap. Stuff like that.
Yeah, something you'd recommend. 6s, if it was basically, I think Alex said this best one time. If somebody handed me this for free, I would drink it, but it's not something I'd go out of my way to want to have. 5s, probably not drinking it, probably handing it off for free if somebody even gave it to you, and then anything below that, we're not recommending you try.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment of the scale.
So the just answer the questions because you got me on it. The Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 are the ones that actually contain like certain things like that gold disc.
Yeah.
Launched in the 70s, and they've actually reached interstellar space. They've actually reached outside of our solar system into like the empty space world, kind of like realm as you would call it. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, sweet.
Awesome.
So they're like 15, like almost 15 billion miles away from Earth.
In 77, that's Elvis Presley, maybe?
No.
Elvis is a little bit older than that, right?
I mean, yeah, but as far as sounds, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about what music they would have put on the thing in 77, I mean,
Elvis died actually the same year the Voyager was launched.
So yeah, Elvis is on there. Hank Williams Jr. No,
I don't know. It's probably different types of music. But anyways,
we
digress.
Yeah. All right. Anything more for the beer?
No, I think
I like it. It's a good drinkable beer. If you're looking for a craft beer you can drink a good bit of, that's one of them right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Into the NFL draft. Obviously, when we're recording this, it's 2 days away. 2021 draft. Dallas Cowboys fan, Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
We them boys.
Not a real diehard, but I like the Packers. I like the Saints. So, kind of have some interest in who they're going to pick. But so what we've done is we have essentially taken 8 different mock drafts across CBS, Pro Football Focus, ESPN's Todd McShay, Mel Kiper,
the top
NBC
football,
Sports.
Either way, the top football
247
mock drafts.
Yeah, anybody that you will online see a mock draft for, and we have condensed them
into our own mock draft,
into our own Beer Bacon Bros mock draft.
And basically, we've picked like the first pick overall. Everybody was picking Trevor.
Yeah.
But if it was 5 chose Trevor and 2 chose someone else, we leaned towards the person that appeared the most. So it's kind of like we took the average, not the average, we took the
majority,
the most, whichever one showed up the most.
Yeah. And we're all going to feel free to give opinions outside of the pick as well. Like if you think a team should take somebody else, or you don't think it's a good player. I mean,
it's basically just a way for us to convey what we think is the consensus of what's predicted to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So
and we've got if you're listening to this, we've got a good little slideshow with this that we're going to have on the YouTube video. If you're watching the YouTube video, you're going to see this in a couple seconds. So
yeah,
I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
So either way, it was consensus overall. Trevor Lawrence is the first overall pick. He is going to Jacksonville without a doubt. Sorry, Trevor. But he will be in the Sunshine State with his old Sunshine Flow.
I think if he'd go anywhere else, he'd be like we've said it before. He'd be the next Andrew Luck. He's just going to be there. He's going to have a presence in the league for a long time. Never going to really seal the deal. But I feel like if he's not traded out of Jacksonville quickly and they don't turn it around, like if one of those two doesn't happen, he's going to be one of those that talent just gets burned out of a shitty team, and it's just going to kill him.
Either that, or he's going to become kind of the next Deshaun Watson and be like, "Hey, I want to get out of here. Like you're not doing anything."
Yeah, he's going to force some sort of trade.
So I know that's a Clemson to Clemson reference, but that really is the best kind of reference I can. Ryan Tannehill would be the other one. He was frustrated in Miami and said, "Hey, I'm ready to go," and they got him to Tennessee.
What's the rookie contract? 4 years at least.
It depends actually, but his will probably be somewhere between 4 and 5 years. Yeah, he's the first overall pick.
After that,
he's going to go in there swinging for the fences on the rookie contract.
After that, either he's looking to get big money, depending on how he does, or like you're saying, if Jacksonville hadn't helped him out in the next 3 to 4 years, he's looking.
If he doesn't go out there and shit the bed, I'll be surprised if he doesn't ask for max contract in 4 or 5 years, because QBs in 4 to 5 years, their contracts are going to be
astronomical.
beyond our belief from right now.
Wait,
They're already exponentially
probably,
growing.
probably
so it's just even going to be worse. Yeah,
probably
it's going to be
$50 million
worse.
a
I mean,
year.
Pat Mahomes already basically got a $50 million deal, but it's going to become like the top 5 have $50 million deals.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, they've already acquired Marvin Jones Jr. in free agency, so they have him another receiver to go with D.D. Westbrook, and Chark and some of the other guys that they've added. $100 million in cap space, will give Urban Meyer a little bit of wiggle room to kind of add some things for him. So obviously, they may win 4 games next year, but
I mean, I think they're kind of in the same scenario, which leads into the next pick as well in the Jets. But whether they need to keep a healthy line to help protect Trevor Lawrence, and I think so. I guess so. Was everybody consensus that Zach Wilson is going to?
Everybody is consensus that Zach Wilson will be the number 2 overall pick to the Jets. 6'2", so a little bit undersized, I guess. He's more Aaron Rodgers-esque with the 6'2", 215, but the quarterback out of BYU. Really, I mean,
so
I don't know what to say to this.
My whole thing was I thought Sam Darnold's not great by no means, but
No.
I don't think I think the Jets could have stuck with him because they did pick up a top lineman last year with their first round draft pick,
Yep.
and I definitely think they could have went and got a top lineman this year.
Wide
and
receiver.
To beef up the line though, but to then help Sam Darnold out, like be protected.
So I agree with that, but I think the reason why they're going with Wilson is the reason I'm going to say I think he's going to do good. It's just because he's the unexpected underdog. No one expected him to be number 2 overall, but I think he's going to show that he is worth the number 2 overall pick. And I don't think the Jets want to take the chance of missing this opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what ended up happening, I think, is obviously, Justin Fields was initially, like everybody said, Trevor Lawrence is 1, Justin Fields is 2, coming into basically leaving last year and doing the really early mock draft picks. But
after the national championship, people thought Fields was going to take over as number 1.
Yeah, and I mean, the problem ended up becoming is people. I don't know why, and we'll talk about this as we get through it. But I don't know why people have kind of moved away from Justin Fields, but they have.
Did they?
And
they just weren't impressed with his pro day, right?
Yeah, I mean, they give all kinds of excuses. I mean, now they're saying he has epilepsy and all kinds of things. But I mean, what happened?
But if he was to be this number 2 quarterback, how often is it that you have more than one pro day though? As far as make it known that, hey, once you have your first pro day, that's what everybody's gonna watch, and most scouts are gonna be at.
Yeah.
And so for Justin Field, I knew he partook in Ohio State's second pro day.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was. I guess he felt like he had more to prove, and I think people were like, "What you did in your first day is the best we're gonna see."
Yeah. I mean, I'm a guy that's like, yo, you have 2 years worth of tape on this guy. Let's put the tape on. Let's watch what he does in a game. But anyway, Zach Wilson, people were questioning, what his real size was because BYU had him, as always, schools have you listed taller, bigger, faster, stronger. And they had him listed at 6'3", 225. So his height measurable was a big important thing. This is his official numbers from not only his pro day, his pro day because they did the NFL Combine, but so 6'2" and 1/8 and 215, which is completely fine. That's Aaron Rodgers size. And that's what a lot of people are kind of comparing him to is
as far as the big arm and everything.
Big arm, enough mobility to make things happen. That Johnny Manziel-esque of when a play breaks down, he's able to make something out of nothing. So people just kind of fell in love with Zach Wilson. I think he's a great quarterback. I'm with you, and we've said this before. Trevor Lawrence, to me, his ceiling is Andrew Luck. If everybody will go back to when Andrew Luck was getting drafted, this guy was the next Jesus, basically. He was the next Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or whatever. And Andrew Luck had a good career. He didn't have a great career, a lot of injuries, some issues, with him that ended up making him retire fast. I think that's where Trevor Lawrence is going to get to. He's going to be as good as Andrew Luck. I don't think he's going to be the elite top 3 quarterback. And I think if things pan for Zach Wilson, I'll take the hot take of saying it right now on video. I think if things pan out correctly for the Jets, they draft well over the next couple of years and they put talent around him, he could be the next Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
But
I think
Zach Wilson will do better than Trevor Lawrence if he gets
The
so
help.
that he gets the support he needs, or if not, goes to a different team.
I got you.
Any more for Zach?
No.
Get on Zach. The third
So,
pick.
This is the hot pick. Don't say the name yet. There's a lot going on with this. The 49ers traded up into number 3 where Miami was. They flopped picks, basically 12 and 3, and then a couple other draft picks. San Francisco obviously had to give up more for Miami to feel comfortable making that trade. And
I said, Miami.
They moved back into the top 6 with Philadelphia.
Yeah, I say they've made a couple good moves to secure a couple picks.
They've got draft picks secured around.
I mean, Jacksonville's got 11, but Miami's got so many picks over this year and next year.
Yeah.
But,
so, I mean, I thought they did a very good job to essentially drop 3 spots to where you're not losing out on a blue chip player. But then to secure 3-4 other picks in the process.
Exactly. So the third pick, everybody made this move, or when San Francisco made this move, everybody initially said it's Kyle Pitts. They're going after Kyle Pitts. They're getting Jimmy Garoppolo, this big tight end target, the next Jimmy Graham, the best tight end in the league, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, everybody feels like Kyle Pitts is going to be the next basically Travis Kelce and just an all-world tight end, number one tight end in the league.
The boy's good. Yeah, the boy's good.
Kyle Pitts is going to be that.
Yeah.
He will be that.
We personally, as South Carolina fans, got to watch him absolutely destroy our defense. So,
when the tight end leaves the game being the number 1 receiver, it's just kind of like,
I've seen a couple tight ends just beat South Carolina, Stoneburner or whatever his name was out of A&M.
Yeah. But anyways, Kyle Pitts is that good, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Kyle Pitts is not who we're actually seeing as projected as a 3rd overall pick. It basically came down initially when I made this last week, it was Justin Fields. And then thankfully I was paying attention yesterday morning and it flipped. Basically, San Francisco came out and they said, hey, we're picking between Trey Lance and Mac Jones. And then when I relooked at everything, everyone said Mac Jones. And so 3rd overall pick we're saying is going to be Mac Jones. There's
another Alabama quarterback being drafted high who probably would just have a trend of the previous Alabama quarterbacks and not do anything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, A.J. McCarron was the first one to throw a touchdown from Alabama in the NFL for like
40 years.
Yeah.
It was like legitimately 40 years.
Yeah, it was decades. So Mac Jones is good. I just don't think he's good enough.
Do y'all know the controversy that's going on with this, though?
No.
Okay, so if you're a 49ers fan, I really feel for you. But basically what's happening is Kyle Shanahan, the head coach for the 49ers, says, I want Mac Jones. He's my guy, right? And they traded up to get the 3rd overall pick before even really discussing who they were going to take, which is dumb. But Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, says, Mac Jones, he's my guy. This is who I want. He can run my offense. I've had success with, Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins and, these other pocket
is that who they're comparing him to?
Yeah, pocket passer style quarterback.
Just pro style.
Somebody that can manage the game, doesn't turn the ball over, makes the right decisions, doesn't obviously have any athleticism. I mean, Mac Jones is as slow as 38-year-old Peyton Manning, but
Big Ben, he was as slow as Big Ben.
He's as slow as current Big Ben, yeah. And then the rest of the organization, including the general manager, wants to take Trey Lance. Everybody thinks that Trey Lance is this diamond in the rough. We don't know enough about him. He's got the superstar talent, the body size, all this other stuff.
So
they're literally fighting over who to take.
So is he? But what is he like the next Carson Wentz coming out of North Dakota?
No, he's completely different than Carson Wentz.
No. But as far as the big hype around him, because everybody was hyped about Carson Wentz and what he did at North Dakota State.
Yeah,
and now I
feel like Mac Jones is going to be eerily similar. It's going to be
to Carson Wentz.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
It's going to be.
He was referring to Trey Lance, but
I think Mac Jones is going to be eerily similar to Carson Wentz. It's going to be a lot of hype. If he does make it somewhere, it's going to be because it was a team effort. Generally, was a team effort.
Yeah,
and then it's just
he's going to fizzle out.
It's just going to fizzle. He's just going to end up going right to the middle of the. It's just going to be status quo QB, just middle of the road.
Matt Ryan at best, and that's actually kind of what Kyle Shanahan wants. He doesn't want a superstar that he has to handle. He wants somebody that's level-headed like Mac Jones. And they actually feel like they could plug in a quarterback and go to the Super Bowl. Like, that's how good they think San Francisco is right now, run game wise, Deebo Samuels, and then of course that defense. So we'll see. We think it's going to be Mac Jones. It could be Trey Lance. We know it's going to be one of those two. So
shocker, they are going with Kyle Pitts.
That's what somebody asked me today. They were like, "What if they really traded up to get Kyle Pitts and then I don't want to. Well, I'll go ahead and spoil it. So at the 4th overall pick, we are saying that Kyle Pitts will go to Atlanta. That's what everybody else is saying. This was like a 7 out of 8 agreeing on Kyle Pitts. What if they did take Kyle Pitts at 3, and then Atlanta's just sitting there like,
Who do
what
we
do
take?
we do? Like, I hope Atlanta's got a backup plan. So
Yeah, it's called Hayden Hurst.
well, I mean, that's my thing. Like, for Atlanta, I'm not an Atlanta fan by any means. Atlanta, this is a pick where, basically people are saying you're just going to take the best overall player. Like, people have Kyle Pitts behind Trevor Lawrence as the literal best football player in this draft.
Oh, yeah. Kyle Pitts is a
But Atlanta has to actually have that conversation with themselves. You've got Hayden Hurst, who's a dependable, he's an everyday, every down tight end.
He's a top 10 tight end in the NFL.
Yes. So why would you go and pick with the 4th pick overall another tight end?
Well, I mean,
having two of the top 10 tight ends in the league would be really great to have.
But if you're not,
but if every other position sucks,
I'm gonna say if you're not
doing yourself any
running a
favors.
2 tight end set on offense. Probably.
I mean, Kyle Pitts will probably actually flex out. I really do think that Kyle
as like
Pitts
a
will play
slot guy.
Yeah, he'll play.
He'll move up to the slot, or he's like just 3 feet off the line, like kind of just. It's almost going to look like he's lined up at tight end, but he's not. Kind of weird thing.
Some NFL GMs have apparently said that they think he could be the next Calvin Johnson. Like, he's got the big enough body that if he works his way into being fast enough to be that X wide receiver, he can do that. Again, 6'5", almost.
He could
6'6".
be the outside receiver.
I mean, the guy's basically 6'6", 6'5" and 5'8", 245. I mean, this dude's a monster.
If he gets fast enough, he could be the guy running down the sidelines. Just you just got to get over the DB. That's the only thing you got to do.
Throw the ball up.
Yeah, just get it over. Get it over the defender.
Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, like when I look at it, I'm like, Atlanta, you need cornerback, you need defensive line, you need linebacker, you need offensive line. Like, you have Julio Jones, you have Calvin Ridley, you have Hayden Hurst. I mean, maybe draft you you're not going to do it at the 4th overall pick, but man, draft you a freaking like great running back somewhere. So people have said that the Patriots have obviously shown interest in getting Julio Jones.
So, but either way,
who I see Kyle Pitts being if he could get a little bit faster?
Who?
He could be just like Chase Claypool. I just looked it up because I was wanting to confirm it.
Yeah, Chase
there's
Claypool
only
the same size.
There's only 1 inch difference, and the weight's almost the same.
Chase Claypool actually played a little bit of tight end in college too.
Yeah.
So,
but either way, so is it a consensus though that Atlanta's just looking to draft the best player at the 4th? Like,
if they go Kyle Pitts, that's all they were doing.
From what we're seeing, exactly
it's
what Alex just said.
It's just who the best player is at that point in time.
They literally were like, okay, Mel Kiper's big board. Okay,
that's the guy.
First available Mel Kiper's big board. That's what they're going to go for.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and roll into the 5th pick.
Yep.
Okay. So 5th pick, Cincinnati Bengals. Little controversy here right now as this is kind of changed in the last 4 or 5 hours. So I didn't have time to make the adjustment, but we are seeing and saying beforehand Penny Sewell. That's how
Sewell, something like that.
Sewell, who is the offensive tackle from Oregon, 6'6", 330. I mean, from what I read on this guy, this is the best offensive lineman that has come out of college football in the last 15 years. Now,
from what they're saying and what I've seen too, I would agree.
I mean, and he's like, I watched a little bit of his tape on Sunday when I was kind of making this.
Where on the line is he playing?
He's a left tackle.
He's left tackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, which would be a huge thing for Joe Burrow, who, by the way, just tore his ACL last year because the Cincinnati
and Joe Burrow is right-handed,
so
right?
Yeah,
so that'd be a hell of a blindside tackle out there to have blocking you.
How big?
6'6", 330.
How big was Michael Orr?
Michael Orr was actually like 6'8", 350, but I mean that was just. I mean, when you get to this,
that was
size,
a freak of nature.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was just saying because I was about to say, as far as talent wise and the way they move like footwork wise. I feel like they both kind of compare.
Yeah,
footwork. It's comparable. The two of them.
He's especially in that Oregon
at
offense.
That size. That's why I was asking how big.
Good luck seeing over his ass though, trying to dump down to the left side.
Yeah. I mean, but for Oregon's offense, their offensive linemen are very athletic because of a lot of the stretch runs, the motion. I mean, the kind of
they're a high speed offense.
They are,
yeah.
And so you have
somebody
be able to
keep up.
You have somebody that is an elite athlete at left tackle with the right size, with the pass blocking ability.
He's probably like one of the more well conditioned linemen out there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's not even like his grade is basically like a 98, and the next offensive lineman's is like a 94. It's not even close right now.
Yeah,
so,
big gap.
I guess the next.
So I think if this really does happen here, I think that's that's an A pick.
So
that's an A plus.
I guess when it first came out, like after college football ended, and the Bengals weren't exactly sure whether they were going to take a receiver, take lineman, whatever they were going to. They had him falling almost all the way down to 10 at one point in time.
Yeah, so there I have now seen in the last.
So it's kind of like a Bengals or bust for this dude.
Well, it all depends.
Well, like if it's not the Bengals, he'll probably fall a good bit.
Yeah.
The way it played out as far as what teams needed.
He just happened to hit. He's going to fall that far.
It fell to like an 8, 9, 10 spot.
I don't think he will. Like I think
if it comes down to like 7 or 8, whoever's there, they'll probably be like, you know what, hell, let's get this offensive lineman.
I don't think there's any way he makes it past the next pick at 6. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is the controversy between the two. It's either Penny Sewell or Jamar Chase. A lot of people are thinking Jamar Chase because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase playing together at LSU. They already have that relationship.
Yeah, so we're saying Jamar Chase is going.
What we've built out is we're saying that Jamar Chase is going 6
to Miami.
He could go 5 to the Bengals. Those are the two that the Bengals are basically picking from. At the time I built it, I would say that's Penny Sewell. I still think that they may go offensive line, but either way, these two guys are going off the board at 5 and 6. Whether it's Chase first and then Sewell, or Sewell first and then Chase.
Because I guess the next top lineman, I guess, and he's more of an interior, either guard, center, was that Rashad Slaughter out of Northwestern.
Yeah. So he's later in our draft pick, but Jamar Chase. And people have kind of knocked this draft a little bit because there's not a huge, by a huge receiver, I mean actually like 6'4" big guy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's Kyle Pitts, obviously, is that hybrid, but Jamar Chase is at 6 foot. Jalen Waddle's at like 5'11". Devonta Smith's at 6 foot. Rashad Bateman at Minnesota is 6'1".
I say you're looking a lot of like AB size guys.
Yeah.
Right at that 6 foot mark.
Yeah. And, but I tell you what, they're extremely talented guys. I mean, you can make the argument that Devonta Smith is better than Jamar Chase, or Jamar Chase is better than Devonta Smith, and those two are definitely the top two. And then you see some more falling off. But Miami,
just the explosiveness from Devonta Smith would put him above Jamar Chase.
The size is what they're knocking, right? You see Jamar Chase at 6 foot and 3/8, 201. Devonta Smith weighed in at 166.
What's a big difference in the NFL? Huge difference.
Yeah, I mean you got guys in high school that are bigger weight wise at receiver than that guy, and I don't mean just any I mean talented wide receivers in high school. So, but Jamar Chase would be exactly what Miami needs. I mean, Tua needs somebody that he can throw to that is
stretch the field with.
He needs a threat,
and I don't mean this in any disrespect to any of the guys in Miami, but he needs somebody that can beat number 1 corners, and so Jamar Chase would definitely kind of make sense for that pick.
Yeah, I agree with that.
At 7, Detroit, this is where people could start to see a possibility of people trading up. If somebody likes Trey Lance, if somebody really likes Justin Fields, they see that Detroit can move out. I mean, this makes total sense. God forbid if Jamar Chase actually makes it to 7, I would say he probably goes here. They have to take wide receiver if they're taking somebody. You've already seen Kenny Golladay go to New York. He's with the Giants now. Marvin Jones Jr., like we talked about earlier, is in Jacksonville. So they have nobody wide receiver. They have their top 2 guys who probably made up maybe close to 2,000 yards worth of production last year with Matthew Stafford are now gone. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's gone. They brought in Jared Goff. But so for them, you get the Heisman Trophy winner. I mean,
you got to go about it. There's who was their number 3 receiver? Was it Danny Amendola?
I think it actually was Danny Amendola.
It was.
If we're being
I think it was. But I think with Devontae Smith, we did just harp on his weight. They could easily, within 2 weeks, get him up to 180.
Yeah,
you would
easily.
I mean, you say that, but how did he not get up to 180 in Alabama's weight and conditioning nutrition program? I mean, that's the best in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he performed well enough at 160. They were like, let's not screw this up and
that's
make
what I'm
him
saying.
fat.
They probably let him get to 170. They're like, all right, he's doing. This is where he needs to be. He's where he needs to be.
Okay.
Who are you to go tell the Heisman Trophy winner he needs to improve his conditioning?
that's exactly I mean, I don't.
Hey, man, I know you're the best player in the country, but you're not big enough for us. Like,
well, I mean,
but now it's the next level. He needs to get that weight.
I understand this is two different sports, but I was like when McGregor tried to go up to like 185 or whatever it was to fight
Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
It affects everybody's. It affects your body differently.
He looked a little slower. That might be his natural walking around weight, but his fighting weight's like 155.
Yeah.
And Devontae Smith, he might perform better at 160. Like he may have gotten up heavier, and they like saw a reduction and they're like, hey, no, you need to cut that weight back down.
Yeah. So they may have tried to put on weight.
If that's not the case, NFL conditioning guys, they can get him up to 190 almost in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
In the offseason.
In a healthy 192.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine. How
much muscle mass you think DK put on once he got to the NFL?
I don't know because he had like 0.00%.
It's whatever the amount that Hercules had.
Yeah.
it's whatever amount Hercules had. If you calculate his, that's how much he put on.
Yeah, whatever DK did work for him. Because he went to that combine and people were like, "Oh my God, this dude is a god."
I mean,
I'm moving to my on deck beer.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
so.
But yeah, like you're saying, I think he could easily get up to like that 175, 180 range. But if you start seeing a loss in production, I would be like, all right, play at the 170.
Yeah, I think with Detroit, Devontae's not he might play slot a little bit. He might be just the number 2 on the inside, and he's going to do a lot of across the middles, quick slant stuff like that. Just because of his talent, and his speed. You're not going to have to throw him a deep ball. I mean, he can do 20-yard stuff. He can do the deep stuff you need him to, but I think the smart play for them would be just doing like 15, 20-yard stuff. That's going to be his that's going to be where he thrives. Yeah.
Well, people, I mean, especially even in college, Sark, kind of showed you that the best way to get Devonta Smith open is a little bit of that motion. It is some of the quick slants. This is the bunch formations. Can he go up one-on-one on the line and can he actually beat a Richard Sherman in the NFL one-on-one on the line? No, not at that weight, not at that size. But if there are things offensively you can do to get him open and not let corners just basically plant their feet and put their hands on him the moment the ball snaps.
Yeah.
So there's some things that they can do there to get him open. And I think it's a great pick. If Detroit does end up doing this, I think it's the thing they have to have for Jared Goff to even be successful this year. So
yeah.
On to the next pick.
Yeah, at 8, the Carolina Panthers. This is a pick where people are actually, multiple sources were saying that the Panthers would be willing to move out of this pick if Penny Sewell doesn't fall to them at 8. Obviously, the Panthers need offensive line. They just went and got Sam Darnold. They feel like Sam Darnold is a little bit of the guy that they, want to come in and battle Trevor Bridgewater, or Teddy Bridgewater. Sorry, not Trevor. But the thing that I saw and started reading a little bit over today, now that San Francisco has basically said that they're not going to take Justin Fields, is that the Panthers are interested in Justin Fields. So to bring in 3 quarterbacks,
I think is a little
much.
Overkill. Overkill.
It's overkill, especially when you're using a top 10 pick to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so many other people, so many other positions. I
know Kuechly's been out now for a little bit, but I know they hadn't replaced a linebacker position.
The only thing I can think of is if they come in and pick Justin Fields, then they use him as some sort of trade bait or something like that.
Like Atlanta does with pitchers.
Yeah.
Just pick up random pitchers.
Yeah, the Braves just pick up a pitcher and be like, hey, I mean, you can go in the locker. I wouldn't unpack or nothing like that.
But you're probably going to get traded.
Carolina should go a different route at QB if they don't plan on dumping the other 2.
Yeah,
at least one of the other 2.
Yeah. I do think they're willing to move on from Teddy Bridgewater. If somebody were willing to take that contract and give them basically anything for Teddy Bridgewater, I think they would take it at this point. It doesn't make sense to me because if you trade to go get Sam Darnold because you actually think that Sam Darnold could be the future for your organization, then why would you draft Justin Fields? I mean, I get it. You get to push him. You get to guarantee yourself that you got a quarterback that is going to actually start your games next year and be successful. Because, I mean, out of the 3, one of them's got to be freaking good.
You would think.
You would think. But
I mean,
I do think it
But I think Carolina needs help on the defensive side more than they do at the.
They've drafted a lot on the line. They need the help in the secondary.
Yeah.
Thomas Davis is basically taking over for Luke Kuechly, and he's doing just as good a job, basically. And they've drafted basically 2 defensive lines in the first 40 picks last year. So they've kind of filled that need.
But secondary, safeties, corners, that area.
You don't need 3
quarterbacks.
Starting quarterbacks.
So like here,
if they
like,
have Justin Fields, they'll legitimately have 3 quarterbacks that have had started multiple games in the NFL, and it's just what's the point?
Yeah.
So at this pick, if I were, I guess, Carolina, I would be looking Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn.
Yeah.
Who is the top safety?
Well, it's technically the kid from TCU that we'll get to in a second, but I mean,
I don't
Greg
remember
Newsome at Northwestern is also another one that people.
But yeah, looking
They're
at
looking for somebody in the deep, the DB or safety and stuff like that.
Somewhere, either free safety, strong.
I agree. That's a good route to go.
Yeah,
just to kind of help.
It's a little high as well. So one of the other things that we've been seeing is that the Panthers are willing to trade out of this, and New England is obviously interested in moving up and getting Trey Lance or Justin Fields at this point.
I mean, yeah, you could do like a 15 for an 8 trade or something like that.
Yeah, and you could get your safety or your cornerback at the 15 spot, unless it was somebody you just felt like you had to have. But Justin Fields, 6'2" and 3/4, 227. I personally look at this as he's the third best quarterback. I think it is Trevor Lawrence. I think it is Zach Wilson, and I think it is Justin Fields from a managerial standpoint. Those were the 3 that I would take in that order. People have really fallen off the Justin Field train, and I don't know why or what. And
I think he's going to be the next brain fart. But I think he's going to be the next move. He's going to fit into this movement of these scrambling, agile quarterbacks that the NFL is getting a resurgence of.
I feel like he's a bigger size Russell Wilson, and I mean, maybe he's not as good as Russell. Like Russell Wilson's great right now, but Russell Wilson.
Lamar Jackson was the name I was thinking of. He's going to be He's not going to be as electric as Lamar or Pat Mahomes, stuff like that. But he's going to be fitting in with Russell Wilson. He's going to be in that clubhouse with those guys.
Yeah,
and I think.
What about?
I think he's going to have a successful NFL
Marcus
career.
Mariota?
Yeah, like that. Early in his career, Marcus Mariota. Yeah, sure.
Justin Fields is going to have a successful NFL career because this agility that is becoming newfounded as being like it's
another X factor.
Yeah, another X factor. It's another intangible. Yeah.
Yeah. People, from what I've heard, like over the last 24 hours, people are just saying, well, he's coming from Ohio State. He's not going to work out because you can't name an Ohio State quarterback in the NFL right now that's good. Okay, I mean,
what does that mean?
People don't think Carson Wentz is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
there can't be another one that
there's a BYU quarterback in the NFL that's great right now. No, I mean, like that's just a terrible take. So
it's like how do you hold that? Because I mean, like you've got quarterbacks like Ben Roethlisberger came from like Miami of Ohio, just like
exactly.
People can come out of nowhere. People are allowed to
Delaware.
make people are allowed to be
from like
Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, you're allowed to be the first of whatever because
I mean
that's just the way it works. He could be one of the first great quarterbacks to come out of Ohio State in the modern era or whatever.
Yeah,
who can't go off of that shit? That's just dumb. That's a dumb take.
We said the same thing about Mac.
Hey, by the way, Jamarcus Russell was from LSU, and no other great LSU's quarterbacks ever come out. So you shouldn't draft Joe Burrow 1.
Yeah, I mean, granted, we did just say the same thing like Mac Jones, like you said, Adam. But I think it's a little bit different because Alabama's consistently putting quarterbacks into the first round almost, they consistently do nothing.
They consistently have great quarterbacks in college that for whatever reason don't pan out in the NFL.
Yeah,
Ohio State is too, but I mean,
Ohio State's not consistently winning national championships like Alabama is, and those quarterbacks aren't consistently failing at the NFL level.
No, I guess they're not. So, over at the 9th pick, this is kind of a wild card. This is how diverse the 9th pick has gone. When I was looking at the mock drafts, literally not a single person agreed on who the Broncos would take at 9, which is kind of wild because I later in the draft, there's a pick where literally like 7 of the 8 said one guy in the 20s. So you're like, okay, well, that's probably
then
happen.
What that tells me here is I think we're going to see the trade. Yeah, Denver's going to trade it.
I do think this is going to be the Denver trade. People have said Trey Lance. Denver fans, I think, are tired of Drew Lock, and they don't feel like Drew Lock is good enough to be the future of the team. I don't think the front office or the team feel that way yet. Drew Lock has had his moments. If the Broncos were going to take somebody, I do think it would be Slater, just as you mentioned. Good job. Doing a little research over here. The number 2 offensive lineman in the draft, 6'4" 1/4, 304 currently. Very mobile, Big Ten offensive lineman. Guy knows how to run block. I mean, it just kind of is what it is.
Big body on the inside.
Yeah, and can play guard and tackle. And Denver really needs it. Their offensive line is horrendous. They drafted a guy like 2 or 3 years ago at the 20th pick that was from nowhere. I think he was from Utah, and the guy literally hasn't panned out, and they've already moved on from him. So, for Denver, makes sense to go offensive line. Really, honestly, makes sense to trade. I do think that New England, if they felt like Trey Lance was the guy, you've probably watched. Even if they trade up into 9, you're probably still going to have Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Maybe not by our projections, but I think it's a possibility. I think Denver trades out of this to whoever secretly wants that quarterback, because I feel like there's going to be somebody that secretly is like, man, Justin Fields. I know we got X quarterback, like we got Ryan Tannehill or something, but
he could be the next guy.
Yeah, you put Justin Fields and Derrick Henry running read options. I mean, woo! So that's what we have as in our mock draft at 9.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a trade.
I agree with you. I actually probably, if we're gonna take projections, I would say it's probably a trade too.
So all right.
This is the personal pick at 10.
For the boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take over this one. You go ahead and read this one off. Tell me how excited you are about
I like what we're doing here. I do like the cornerback pick. What I want to see though, we have 2 veteran tackles coming off of season-ending injuries last year. One with the neck, one with the knee. I would like to have seen maybe an offensive lineman here, because we have last year alone 4 out of our 5 starters went down with injuries, and 3 of them was season-ending. So
maybe y'all should draft a new strength and conditioning coordinator.
So what
at pick number 52?
Yeah.
So if either Slaughter or Slater or Sewell happen to drop, I would like to see them pick up one of those 2 at the 10th pick
over Patrick Surtain. By the way, our projection is Patrick Surtain, yes, the cornerback out of Alabama.
Or I guess the other option would be J.C. Horn, right?
Both. So of the 8 mock drafts, 6 said Patrick Surtain, 2 said J.C. Horn. So you're pretty much guaranteed a cornerback. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would like to see us, and with Dak Prescott coming off of his season-ending injury of a broken ankle.
Yeah.
So I would like to see us replace the talent that we had at left tackle in Tyrone Smith. Like I said, he's either retiring or he's coming back off of a season-ending neck injury from last year.
Okay.
So I would like to see that, but we drastically need help in the secondary.
Yeah.
So for us to go cornerback here in either Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn, I would be fine with either one. Hometown favorite, J.C. Horn, being a Carolina fan.
Yeah.
But I do, of the corners, Patrick Surtain's got to be the best corner out there.
Patrick Surtain is the number 1 rated corner, and I think the only thing that gives him a little more edge over J.C. Horn is Surtain played safety early in his career at Alabama. He played a little bit of a strong safety early on his career until he moved down to the corner position. So I think he can help you at both spots in the secondary. Like he could transition to the NFL and play either one depending on what you need. He is bigger. He is at 6'2" and 1/8, so he can really hang with a lot of those receivers. 208 is a great weight for a corner. Can play physical on the line. And, I mean, I don't think either team, whoever you are, if you get Surtain or J.C. Horn or even Greg Newsome,
you're not going to be mad.
You're not going to be mad about it. You got a number 1 corner. You got a guy that can go one-on-one with people. So Surtain played the defense that Alabama plays sometimes plays a little bit more zone than South Carolina did.
Yep.
So Surtain could play. He could fit into a defensive scheme kind of like what Seattle used to run, where you have one cornerback that basically covers the left side of the field. And so I do think that would probably maybe limit him a little bit if they're just basically like, hey, Surtain, go cover the best wide receiver.
Well, I say, and being a Dallas, like they do run a lot of zone, and but they also they depend on their linebackers to match up more man to man. With us having supposedly a quicker linebacker core of the NFL, they do match up the linebackers man to man and let the corners and the safeties kind of play a zone. But I've always felt like in the past 3 seasons that I've always seen at least one corner that was always getting burnt.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah.
So
I think that's true.
So if we could have 2 solid corners, I think that would be ideal for Dallas at this pick at 10.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and flip over to 11. Good.
Yeah.
The New York Giants. This is another position where people think somebody's going to trade. They're going to look to trade back. They feel like this part of the draft is where you kind of can get some trade bait from people if they like a certain person. Jalen Waddle, it was projected on a lot. I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot of the 8 was going for the New York Giants. So No, you're not son. And so Waddle's only downside to the other two receivers was his size, 5'9.25". Which you know a little bit about that 5'9.25", don't you?
No, I don't. Still a little tall for me.
But you know about the 180. You know about the 180. So
No, I'm still a little heavier than that too.
Aren't we all, brother? But I mean, Jalen Waddle's a great receiver. Obviously, got hurt a little bit. Truth be told, he was the number one receiver in the Alabama offense early in the season, and then when he got hurt, Devonta Smith kind of took over, ended up winning a Heisman. So, for the Giants, I hate to say it, Daniel Jones needs weapons. Evan Ingram is great and all, but he's only able to do so much.
Sterling Shepard's only able to do so much.
Exactly. So they did go get Kenny Golladay. So if they were to add Jalen Waddle, you would really feel like, all right, Daniel Jones, you have to prove it now, right? You got the tight end, you got the number one receiver in Kenny Golladay. Now you got a slot receiver in Jalen Waddle. You got Sterling Shepard.
I say Shepard's a 3, maybe.
Yeah, probably a 3. I mean, so you'd have to kind of go prove it. So we'll see. So. Hometown guy?
Yeah.
So the number 12 pick, we talked about it earlier. The exact way it went was San Fran had 12, moved to 3. Miami moved back to 12 on that flop, and then Miami and the Eagles switched again at 6 and 12. So hometown guy, baby. J.C. Horn is
good to see it.
Yeah.
Going to Philly, allegedly.
205 seems a little generous for J.C.
So?
Yeah. JC seems a little skinnier than that.
Like 195, you thinking?
Probably, like maybe 190.
Yeah, I don't think he was that thin. I give him like 195.
Almost 6'1", 210. 205, whatever. That's not the JC Horn I know. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I think he's 6'1", but I think he was more 195. 2 pushing it. Two of after had been sweating a little bit. And
yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, the 6 foot has always been him. I mean, they had him. I mean, Lord forbid, when he was coming out of high school, they had him listed at 6'2". So just always love your high school numbers, but yeah,
as long as he doesn't carry his mouth into the NFL, I think he'll be good.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's got some swagger. He's got
really a personality on him.
Yeah, people really think that he can, not to compare South Carolina guys, but can really be that Stephon Gilmore or the Patrick Peterson, the Darrell Revis.
That's big. You talking about Revis Island?
I'm not kidding you. That's what people really think J.C. Horn could be, is just a absolute one-on-one nightmare for number one receivers.
Man,
he doesn't.
He was like that here at South Carolina last year.
Yeah, I mean his numbers back it in college. So the 205, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think he's 205.
But to say you're gonna put him at the
what was it, the third or fourth game of the
season?
season? I forget who he played.
Ole Miss.
Auburn.
He
actually shut down like Auburn's number one guy. Like he only 3 targets or something like that.
Yeah, and he had 2 or 3 picks in the game. So he didn't college stat wise. Like if you just look up, hey, how many interceptions did you have? How many tackles did you have? Like those don't carry real great for him. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of interceptions, but if you look at the amount of times he actually got thrown at in college, I mean, it was less than 4 times a game, no matter who he was matching up with, even in Alabama.
Offenses, they literally avoided the dude.
Yeah, that was the same thing. Was it Jalen Ramsey last year?
And you don't have to be a pick six kind of guy, constant interception kind of guy. If you make an offense constantly avoid one person, that's good enough for the NFL.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
Or same thing.
I'm gonna throw you on the number one receiver every time, and if they avoid him, hell, we took that dude out of the game.
Exactly. Or if you're a defensive lineman and you say you played left end, you're like, nah, I'm not running it to the left side of my line. All right.
Yeah.
I just cut out half. Yeah, like you said, I cut out half the field.
Yeah.
Because of one guy. Yeah. That's a pretty solid stat line.
Yeah, so from us personally, Eagles fans, you should be excited about this pick. I think it would be a great pick for you. Your defense definitely needs it. So this is where we were talking earlier of Penny Sewell.
This was the other guy. This would be another guy I would like to see Dallas take. Yes.
Yeah, so this is another strong left tackle. And Christian, I'm not quite sure how to say it.
Christian Darrisaw.
Darrisaw? Thank you. All right,
from Virginia Tech. 13th pick to the Chargers.
Yeah, so 6'4", 3 3/4, 322,
almost the same weight, almost 2 inches shorter than Penny though.
Yeah. So certainly a guy that is another great offensive line. There are some good offensive linemen in this draft that are going to fall possibly because of the need at quarterback, wide receiver, cornerback. Like most of the guys that everybody except for the offensive linemen we've shown so far.
Christian here is also another left tackle, right?
Yeah, he is another left
tackle.
tackle.
So you also kind of see that trend too of left tackles going early because that's an important part of the line for the quarterback.
But I feel like a lot of your tackles, I mean, I understand it's not quite the same, but I think you could switch to a right tackle position.
Some are a little more run blocking than they are pass blocking skills, and they're kind of usually the run blockers are a little bit heftier, a little bit larger, and so in the NFL, a lot of times it is a very scheme based where you will have a pass blocker on the left side and a run blocker on the right side in the NFL more than it is in college. But the only thing that I took a lot of note out of this was, or that kind of sparked me was, when you think back to the Penny Sewell pick at 5. A team that took a high-end quarterback last year, early pick was a quarterback, their quarterback of the future. Same team in the following years are now trying to take left tackles, and it's kind of the right way to build your team, I think, in my opinion. But
I guess that's the next most important part of your offense. I would say is your left tackle outside of the quarterback. Right?
Yeah. So if you got a right-handed quarterback, yes. Yeah.
14th overall, Vikings. Not a lot of consistency in this. This guy's name popped up probably 3 times out of the 8. Defensive end from Michigan, 6'2" and a quarter, 261.
This would be the first defensive end of the draft.
First defensive end of the draft. There's not a lot of great defensive ends in this draft. That's kind of what I've noticed. I've
noticed that it seems like the defensive end aspect is not as strong this year as it has been in the previous.
There's not an elite level pass rusher. There's not a Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa. There's not a Jadeveon Clowney or Myles Garrett or anything like that. So the Vikings need help on defense in general. So you just pick a defensive position and go back, and they need it. So this is who the Vikings are apparently interested in, and this seems to stay consistent even over the last couple hours as things have changed a little bit. But no idea how to say this guy's first name.
I would say Kwity
Paye.
Kwity Paye.
Yeah, Kwity Paye. So he is regarded
as spelled Kwity for anybody that's listening and not watching.
Yeah, and he is regarded as the best pass rusher of the defensive end. Yeah, of the defensive end. So
I don't know too much of anything about him.
Not of the best pass rusher in general. That's actually the kid from Tulsa Collins, but this one is regarded as the best defensive end. So 15, if the Patriots actually stay at 15, I would probably say there's like a likely chance that they don't stay at 15, whether they move forward or backwards. Bill Belichick and the Patriots are not known for moving up in the draft.
No.
But they also haven't had Tom Brady for the last
20 years.
So,
but Tom Brady 2.0 coming at you right here with the 15th pick.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think this is Tom Brady?
I went back and watched some tape of this guy.
All right.
I mean, he was what, 28-0 in his senior year?
Granted, so what we're saying is what we're saying for people that are listening. This is Trey Lance, the quarterback from North Dakota State. He's 6'4". Wow. Give that boy that last eighth of an inch. Damn.
They put his hand down
225. He's tall, not overweight at all. He's got some agility. From what I could see, this boy could drop a ball in a bucket, like
from 60 yards out.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got.
I think this dude was throwing Danny Dimes right here is what I'm gonna call him. It's not gonna be Danny Dimes up in New York. It's gonna be Danny Dimes back in Foxborough.
Okay.
So I did see a meme though today, and it was like Trey Lance looks like an actor that's playing Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
in a movie about Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I was like. He looks like the off-brand.
Granted, it's D2 football. Granted, it's not called anymore, but I'm old school.
Actually,
it
is actually.
It's
FCS.
Yeah, it's FCS. Yeah,
they are.
So I mean,
I thought they were D2 for a second.
But North Dakota State's put out decent players. They have shown themselves to be an actual talent producer. I think this kid's legit. I think Trey Lance is the real deal.
How do you feel about Trey Lance? Or do you know enough to even have an opinion?
I think it's going to be one of the same things where Tom Brady was not a super talented kid when he got to New England, but the situation he was thrown into and the environment he was thrown into
is going to
evolved him into that. And I think they're going to do the same thing with Trey Lance.
So I think he has the same hype coming out as Carson Wentz.
Okay.
As I stated earlier. So I think people are excited to see this kid and see what he can do. And just solely based off his senior year of going 28, like he threw 28 touchdowns with 0 interceptions last year.
Yeah, it wasn't last year; it was the year before.
Well,
but yeah,
his final season.
Well, he actually did play a game this year and didn't look real well. He threw 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but that was just kind of like one made up game so that they had something on him.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, North Dakota State literally played that game for him in the fall, and then now they're playing in the spring with the rest of the FCS crew. But
I mean, just think about like the emotions going through his mind right now. Yeah, you went to arguably the best Division II FCS school in there for like the past 15 years, but to be talked about being drafted 15th overall to the Patriots.
Do you know his backstory coming out of high school though?
No, not his full backstory.
All right, here's what I'll do. So how many Power 5 schools do you think offered this man a scholarship?
2.
I'm gonna say 0.
1. Minnesota offered him a scholarship to play safety.
And he wanted to play quarterback.
He wanted to play quarterback, and he walked on at North Dakota State and won that job after Carson Wentz left.
Well, that's kind of what who did that at Alabama? The kid was recruited to play something else, but he's like, no, I want to play this position.
Najee Harris.
Nick Saban was like, I'll let you play running back.
Yeah,
well,
it's a little different.
But
this kid had 2 stars.
It's obviously worked out for this kid, though. You know what I'm saying?
It's worked out for both.
He stuck to his guns, and it worked out for him.
So,
but I guess but what Najee Harris like a track star as well.
No, Najee Harris was a middle linebacker and a running back, and he was a 5-star athlete. He was actually titled an athlete coming out of high school. And a lot of people wanted him to play middle linebacker, including Dabo Swinney at Clemson. And said, you're going to play linebacker at the next level. You're not going to play running back. And he told Nick, he was like, I want to play running back. Nick's like, come on, baby.
Yeah.
Wait, so then
I think I can do that.
So it wasn't him that was the track star. It was the one that's at the Colts. Nair Hines.
Najee, yeah.
But he went NC State. I think he was the track star is who I'm thinking of.
You're right. But we don't, if I'm giving my personal thing, obviously our mock draft says that the Patriots are picking him at 15. I actually feel like Bill Belichick actually really kind of likes Trey Lance. I think Bill Belichick is thinking, all right, I know
this is Bill Belichick's Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Too. Because I think he knows, all right, we know who's going 1, 2, and we know who's going 1 and 2. If San Fran doesn't take Trey Lance at 2, I think the Patriots will move up into 7, 8, or 9, somewhere along that stretch that we talked about.
And try to secure it.
And try and get Trey Lance.
Yeah. Try to go up and steal him.
Yeah. I do. I actually
it's also, we've seen this in the past few years, we've talked about it, and I'm just going to say it. We're going to move on because it's a whole nother topic we can get into. It's also if Robert Kraft agrees with that because we've seen that there's been big arguments in that. Yeah. But anyways, we're going to move on to the 16th overall pick because that's a conversation we could have gotten into for 40 minutes.
Yeah. Patriots fans will talk to us about it personally.
Yes.
But 16 overall, the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of different names at this pick. This was somebody that came up 3 times, regarded as the best interior offensive lineman in the draft at guard. No idea how to say this kid's name. I'm gonna
Aaliyah Vera Tucker.
Okay. All right. Out of Southern California, the not real USC.
Aaliyah or Elijah?
Oh, Elijah. That's probably Elijah.
It could be Aaliyah though.
I could have sworn when it was coming like NFL Combine Day, that's what I thought I remember them saying.
Okay.
Like,
I'm going to say Aaliyah because I think Elijah would have the H in a different spot. Okay. But anyways.
All right. 6'4.25", or 6'4.5", sorry, and 308, regarded as the best interior offensive lineman.
See,
again, we get back to it. Young quarterback drafted just 2 years ago. He's already got DeAndre Hopkins. He's now got, James Conner at running back along with Kenyon Drake. Where you need to fix? You need to fix
the offensive line. Especially now with a next level talent of running back like James Conner you just picked up. You've already had the talented QB that it's also agile as well. Yep. If you get a good offensive lineman for those 2 guys back there, you're opening up so many different avenues.
The other when Combine Day was coming up, they listed Slater as the number 1 guard.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was but he literally moved from center. It was like he was like the number 2 center, the number 1 guard, and like the number 3 tackle maybe. So, yeah. I mean, they had him listed like he could literally play from center to tackle, whatever position that they really needed him at.
Yeah, and I mean, if somebody has played on those lines, I mean, this guy's got a tackle body. I mean, you add a little more weight to him, 6'4.5" plenty big enough to play a tackle.
Yeah.
But
I mean, your guards are usually the shorter guy because the interior, because the QB obviously needs to be able to try to see over them.
yeah.
A little bit more agile because you'll have pulling guard plays, especially with the more agile offenses you're seeing, which Arizona is most likely going to start adopting more, having a scrambling quarterback and a talent like James Conner.
They're already there.
They're going to adopt that a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a good pick.
Yeah,
he won't have to adjust to uniform colors changing too much. You know what that
Yeah.
that red and yellow to yellow from Southern Cal to Arizona.
Yeah, not bad. So
I don't think he really cares about that. That was just my little random
well,
tidbit.
I mean, who knows? Maybe his high school was red and gold too, and he's like, yes,
Yeah.
baby. So it's
James Conner did that, but he's a traitor.
He did. He stayed in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh High School, University of Pitt, and Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, but
They
he
said,
wanted more
I'm
money,
out.
baby.
I think Pittsburgh let him walk. They were like, no, you're
I
good.
think Pittsburgh did let him walk. So
But anyway,
we'll
17th
get
pick
to that in a
overall.
couple picks. So the Raiders now in Las Vegas and sit at 17. People don't think this guy This guy, I feel bad for him. Micah Parsons, middle linebacker, Penn State, well regarded as the number one middle linebacker, well regarded as the best linebacker in the whole class. Huge dude at 6'3" and 1/8, 246.
So I was about to tell you, go back to the preview, go back to Aaliyah or whatever, and then go back to this dude.
Mhm.
Yes, there's only about 60 pounds separating between him and an offensive guard
Yes.
as a linebacker.
Yes. And
At 6'3", 250 as a linebacker,
That's stout.
that's stout. And if his if his body fat is below 5%, that boy's built like a brick shit house. Then that is just a ton of damn muscle. Like, my God.
he is. I mean, I don't know his exact body mass index, but he is.
The first thing that stood out to me was when we brought this guy up was like 250. Like,
The weight
God.
difference just between. like you're
Well, no,
saying.
the fact that he's just 6'3", 250. That's a smaller frame to pack 250 on,
Oh yeah.
But look at
especially at
his
a
photo.
linebacker. Though
That's a good looking
he
body.
looks, yeah. I mean, I think
Boy's
this dude.
thick.
I think
The
this
boy
dude.
is thick.
I think this dude just knows how to pick up heavy things and put them back down and then pick them back up again. I think that's just. There's no fat on him. I think he's just pure muscle, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Do we know what his 40 time is off the top of our head?
Yes,
Oh, you
actually,
do?
it's
You
it's 4.6 or 4.65.
All right, so you're talking about 250 running at you at 4.6 speed.
Yeah,
That's-
So
That's going to be a little bit of a hard hitting.
so if you were to actually look at the not the mock draft itself, but the actual like player rankings from 1 to whatever, Micah Parsons is actually in the top 5 of all the players. So,
Okay,
That's
so
why
like
it's just
As far as
overall
over-
best available. He's
Yes.
he's in the
Yeah.
top 5.
he's he's actually he's a 4.36 40.
That's 250 moving at awfully damn quick, son.
Is that wait?
That's
is that,
all-
is that
damn.
unofficial or official 40 yard?
That would be
That's
his
got to be official
time.
now after pro
Yeah.
day and all this stuff. That's his official 40 time.
Yeah.
Official sub 4.4 hauling. That is That boy is getting it up.
Yeah, so Scout.
Well, that's a turbo diesel right there. That's what
That
that
boy-
is.
Yeah, scout grade of 90. He's actually on ESPN
Picking him up
now.
and putting him down, son.
On ESPN now, he's number 16 as the overall player. But early on, he was a lot higher, and I think a lot of the quarterbacks have obviously moved up a little bit. But I don't think he falls this far. Like people have said that Denver would take him, Philadelphia would take him.
I can see
at-
Denver doing it because
at
especially
12.
with Denver not really saying which way they're going to go.
What,
Yeah.
dude,
This
I
could be
mean,
a last minute thing like, hey, let's go get us that linebacker.
Yeah, like
you know?
this guy is clearly the best linebacker. Arguably, he's the best defensive player outside of.
I think
Sertan
he's
Horn.
going to be kind of like a I would say like TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. Going to like he's technically a linebacker.
He's not
But
an
they're-
outside,
they're-
he's not an outside linebacker. He's a middle linebacker. So he's actually probably more like a Ray Lewis.
Yeah, but
honestly.
they might start lining him up on the edge of the line though,
They
being
may.
that size.
That-
That's
no,
what I'm
they
saying. At that size, they're probably going to start lining him up on the ends.
or
Well, I
it
think-
being that quick.
Well, I think
Yeah.
what they're trying to do is they already have Khalil Mack, obviously, on the outside. I think they're trying to reassure that they have.
Oh, they could be
somebody
beefing it up in the middle. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That could really give you a run defense. So if you're the Raiders and this guy falls to you, do not be upset about it.
No,
this
this-
is a steal.
yeah.
This is a clear steal to draft. So I don't think he.
I mean,
gets
hell,
all the way
anytime
to
you can get
17.
250 moving that quick playing linebacker,
Yeah.
dude's going to have to be good.
Yeah, and
You don't have to have great tackling for him. You just hit him
Just
going
hit
four.
him.
Hit him
Just
doing
hit him.
4.3 speed at 250. The kid's going to go down.
Yeah, I mean, Reuben Foster is obviously somebody he's been compared to. There's a lot of different like solid middle linebackers that he's compared to. So, this would be a certain steal for them. Another defensive end coming off. Miami has another pick. Miami has 2 first-round picks. Outside, Jacksonville has the most picks with 11 this year. Miami, I think, has the second most at like 7 or 8, but or maybe even 9 probably. But
Damn, Jacksonville with a big lead on that.
Yeah, Jacksonville's got a pretty solid lead, and then again, $100 million in cap space, so they're going to get Trevor Lawrence and they're going to get somebody else. So. But Jalen Phillips, the defensive end out of Miami, 6'5.5", 260. This guy's, a combination pass rusher, solid defensive end. He and his teammate, which I can't exactly say the teammate's last name. Y'all will get to see him in a second, and y'all can explain it to me. But both really regarded as kind of 2 of the top 3 defensive ends outside of Pay, who we saw earlier. But Miami needs it. I mean, Miami needs a lot of things, but – really, if they don't feel comfortable with an offensive line, I think getting Jalen Phillips here would be kind of a steal for them to kind of beef up their defense a little bit. Who is actually a pretty good defense. I mean, they were rated pretty well last year as far as the NFL goes. But.
He's only 2 inches taller than that linebacker and weighs the same. I'm
gonna look up his 40 time for you just so we can feel.
What's the Penn State linebacker's name? We just talked about him.
Micah
Parsons. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're not gonna forget that name. Micah Parsons is gonna be hella good for a long time. So
it's gonna be hell on wheels if he can keep it up.
Good Lord.
What are we looking for here, Chris? What's that we're trying to pull out?
I was trying to find the 40 time on Jalen Phillips, but like I said, everything's adjusted a little bit. This is
it's just different.
This is a different one. So his was 4.57. So not terrible actually for a
defensive end. Yeah,
pretty quick. Actually, same grade rating at 90 as well. So only 3.5 sacks last year at Miami. But on to the 19th pick. And the Washington Redskins, if a quarterback falls to you, I'm sure they'll take it, but I don't think a quarterback will fall to them at 19.
Yeah.
Even if, God forbid, Justin Fields really does have that bad of day, I don't think he falls to 19. But next middle linebacker,
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah, from Notre Dame.
That was on the fly. Hopefully that was correct.
Hey, that sounds bad. It looks good. Sounds good.
I got closer than Chris would have gotten. I can promise you that.
100% chance. 100%. So sitting at 6'1.5", 221. How about the size difference between him and Micah Parsons?
Big difference. But this guy here, I feel like he's just a little bit more agile. He's
He got the same legs as the quarterback he's sacking in this photo.
Yeah. So, all right, I guarantee you he did not want a sub 4.4.
We'll find it. We will find it.
You think Micah Parsons got those tree trunks that just move him at sub 4 speed?
No. Once you get 250 going, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
When he did his 40, the Penn State had to get like the strength and conditioning guys that to catch him as he ran past.
He had rugby players at the end.
Yeah, bunch of rubber bands he had to run into to slow him down.
The real difference between Jeremiah and Micah really is that
Jeremiah doesn't have it listed.
It doesn't have it listed.
But they have him as an overall grade of a 91, where they had Parkins as a 90.
Yeah,
Parsons, my bad.
Well, there's a little bit of flexibility in Jeremiah. He can play inside and outside. He can cover.
I was going to say, with his size and stuff like that, I feel like he's bouncing around. It just depends on the scheme and what's going on.
He is a little bit more of an athlete per se. So
yeah.
So I think that's kind of the difference between them. And I think, obviously, Washington needs all kinds of help, not on the defensive line, basically, and not. Well, actually, they need help outside of defensive line. So if they were to get somebody like this,
they also need a team name. Like, we need a mascot there now.
Yeah, I really do. I really do kind of hate it. It's just maybe it's a personal thing.
If they keep it as the football team, that's just lazy.
It really is
lazy.
It really is.
Bring back the Senators, man. Bring back the Senators.
That's cool. Back. Yeah, I don't care what they are. They can be the Washington Bombers for all I care. I don't know.
Okay, Chris. You think getting rid of the Redskins to go into the Bombers is going to be okay in today's political climate?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Like I said, I couldn't really care less. But I want them to have a team name, obviously. 20th overall pick, Chicago Bears. The Bears need everything. They could use a quarterback. Maybe they move up, into 9. They really, you don't need a running back. You don't really need a wide receiver with Allen Robinson. You could use tight end, and then your defense is really great. So what they really do need is offensive line. And Tevin Jenkins has been a name that popped up on multiple ones This guy is a absolute like he's a bulldozer basically.
So
this dude
is this the guy that
run blocks for Chuba Hubbard? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say
that's Chuba in the back, and that's his guy that he's following every single play at Oklahoma State. I mean,
that's a big boy, dude.
He is
a big boy.
6'6.5", 320. I mean, this dude is everything you want in a run blocker. Chicago, obviously, Matt Nagy's scheme.
He's just plowing holes in defensive lines. That's just
yeah. And Matt
be
Nagy,
a good pickup for Chicago. I mean, like you said, they definitely need help all across the board, but you can't ever go wrong with picking up a solid offensive lineman when you don't have a solid offensive line.
Yeah. And I mean, they feel really comfortable, in their run game. Matt Nagy is a guy that likes to run the football a lot from an offensive standpoint. Chicago fans, I'm sorry that he's taken over the play calling again. I don't know why he hires an offensive coordinator if he's just going to do it all himself. So, but for you as a Bears fan, you probably should be excited about this. I think this would be a really good pick for you guys. Unless you move up to go get quarterback. I mean, that's what Chicago fans obviously want, but it is what it is for you. So 21 Colts. I actually reached out to Jacob, a friend of ours. Not
shout out to you, Jacob.
Yeah. Jacob
Hunky that was around the corner.
Huge Colts fan. Caleb Kelly, a friend of ours, also is a huge Colts fan, but Gregory
Russo.
Gregory Russo. That's what we're going for?
Yeah.
All right. Gregory Russo. This guy.
It's like Russo from Daredevil.
Yeah.
His arch rival.
He plays in the new show that's on Netflix, Shadow and Bone, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
So Sydney and I started watching a really good show.
Second Miami kid to go in the draft.
Second Miami defensive end. Like we said earlier, he's, him and Jalen are obviously regarded as two of the top 3 defensive ends. This guy coming into this year was actually regarded as a top 5 pick and was kind of like the next Myles Garrett, possibly. He sat out all year at Miami, so he didn't play this past football season.
So you've seen his. Is that hurt his draft stock?
It has.
Yeah, significantly.
A little bit.
I mean, it's 6'6.5", 260 defensive end. I feel like that's gonna be a very agile kind of threat coming around the end at you.
I mean, the other guy was 6'5.5", 261.
Yeah.
He's 6'6.5",
270 basically. Yeah. I mean, he's not as good a pass rusher as
the other guy was
Pay from Michigan, or even Phillips, even from Miami. But he is certainly a star, kind of. He's kind of got that it about him.
I mean, hell, with that height, and I know that he's got the reach. Pass rushing, as long as he just even kind of like just pushes out and then just jumps up, gets a hand on it. I mean, he's going to be able to disrupt passing lanes just alone off of that.
Even on one plays, like he may not shed the block, but if you got a damn
arm on the guy.
Yeah. He's going to be able to reach out and grab him. Yeah.
And he's actually very versatile too. So for the Colts, they have typically played in a 4-3 defense. But he actually can fit into a 3-4. That body size, he can play either one of the ends in a 3-4. And then in a 3-4, he would make a great, larger scale defensive end that's probably going to be on the run side on that left side of that defensive line. So I think for the Colts, I asked Jacob, and Jacob said, dude, I love it. The Colts need defensive line. They've let a couple guys go this year. They've had some guys retire. They've had some age to them. So he felt from a Colts standpoint, obviously he'd love it at 21. So Titans at 22, Jamin Davis, this dude, another middle linebacker, 6'3.5", 234. SEC guy that had like 120 tackles this past year in freaking like 11 games. So this dude is
so he was
coming out of Kentucky, man.
This guy's averaging
all over the field.
Yeah, this guy's averaging 10 tackles a game. He is a little bit more behind the Micah Parsons style of middle linebacker, just kind of a run stuffer, leader.
Big body.
Big body, leader in the middle. Titans need it. I mean, as great as the Titans are at being the best run team in the NFL, they are really terrible at blocking the run. So from a defensive
standpoint, were the worst run defense last year, were they not?
They might have. Well, Dallas probably was, but
the Titans.
No, I really do believe. No, I think. I'm not saying Dallas wasn't.
You might be right though. You might be right.
If Tennessee,
just because it stands out because like I think you're right because I remember it standing out like one of the best running offenses also had one of the worst run defenses. Yeah. Like they happen to just lead the category in runs, yards for and yards against. Like
I think I really do believe it was like last year they gave up like 180 rush yards per game or something like that.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think they had to play Baltimore twice. No, they only had to play Baltimore once. But
if Tennessee was at 32, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas wasn't like 31, 30, or 29. Somewhere in that range.
Certainly. I mean, y'all had the literal just worst defense ever last year. But for Tennessee, if you get this guy, I mean, you should feel really good about it. I mean, he's a great, tackling leader, vocal, quarterback of your defense kind of player. Really highly regarded coming out of Kentucky. So you should feel, in my opinion, really good about it.
Buccaneers had the best rush defense.
So it was the Texans, Cowboys, Jaguars.
Hell, Titans aren't even. Yeah, they're way down here.
Okay, well, man, they weren't as bad as you thought. How about that? But the Cowboys were right there, by the way.
Cowboys were second to last in rush yards.
What was that? 30?
They were at 31. Yeah, the Titans actually had the worst. At 30, they were at 32.
Titans were 32?
Or not, sorry, Texans.
Oh, so both Texas teams were 32-31, huh?
Yeah.
Solid. Love that. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the one horse.
So, well, on to 23, the Jets, they have 2 first-round picks this year as well. This one they got from Seattle, and I think it's because they sent one of their defensive linemen over to Seattle this past year. But when I was referring to earlier where we were at 9 and I couldn't find anybody that was basically sitting in the Buccaneers pick or the Broncos pick, and they were we were talking about how they're going to trade out. You couldn't find consistency. This guy right here, Greg Newsome II, regarded as the 3rd best corner in the draft behind J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain, and 7 of the 8 people said this is who the Jets are taking. So I think the Jets know exactly who they want at 23. And I think he will get to 23. I just don't see enough teams that need cornerback that bad in front of them.
That don't need it worse than another position.
Yeah, worse.
Yeah, they've got other needs that are more important.
Yeah, 6 foot and 3/8, 192 out of Northwestern, and 3 consistent 6 foot corners. I mean, you're starting to see a little bit more of that at the college level and the NFL level, where they don't want 5'10" corners anymore. They want guys that are at least
it's because you're getting your
6'4" receivers. Yeah. So
it's no longer. I mean, you have your standouts and like AB, who's at the 6 foot mark, Devonta Smith, who's at the 6. But yeah, most of your 6'2" or better is what you're looking at the receiver. I would say his average height is 6'2" or better.
Yeah.
So if you don't,
a DB can be a little bit shorter as long as he has the ability to just. He has to be right there on the receiver.
But I'm saying,
his physical presence is going to disrupt it enough.
But at 5'10", like, I don't care if you have a 45-inch vertical. At 5'10", if the 6'3" receiver has a 40-inch vertical, you're not going to be able to make up.
Obviously.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Why that was always a thing, like a 5'10", 5'11", like, that's the corner we want. I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, why would you not want somebody that's he could be
at least fighting for him on the height?
Well, yeah, like 6 foot, 6'1", but find the guy who's 190 pounds and not 220.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're the Jets fans, I mean, if you walk away with Zach Wilson and this guy, you got to feel really good. I mean,
especially
you're
out of the first round.
Yeah. You've got your quarterback in the future and a guy that can actually cover one-on-one wide receivers. So you ready?
Yeah. I'm ready.
You know who's at 24?
Yeah. So at the 24th overall pick, the Steelers, we alluded to it a little bit earlier. They let the running back of the future walk, James Conner. So at this pick, pretty much everyone said they're going running back. It was either down to Najee Harris or
Travis Etienne.
I was about to say, put my mind on that one. Travis Etienne. If they go Najee Harris, I will probably pass out from excitement. Genuinely,
did the kid out of North Carolina?
Both of them went. Both Williams and Carter went.
I would. Granted, Etienne has done well at Clemson, but this past year alone, that Williams kid out of North Carolina surprised me a lot.
But they ran the ball really efficiently. But so what happened is the other day when I was making this, I went through 6 of the 8 said Najee Harris, the other 2 said Travis Etienne. And so I put this slide together. I just sent him a quick shot, and he literally said, he was like, "I will blank in my pants."
And it wasn't number 2. I wasn't number 2. Najee Harris is he's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal running back. We saw it last year. He hurdles 6 foot Nick McLeod from Notre Dame.
Easy.
He
The
also
guy didn't even bend down.
hurdled a 6-foot defender the year before
From South Carolina.
From South. You know who it was, Adam? You know who it was?
Was it J.C. Horn?
No, it was R.J. Roderick.
I thought it was.
So I mean, Najee Harris has got. I mean, at 6'2", 230. He's got the physical appearance and just metrics to play in the NFL and last a long time.
Oh yeah.
Alabama running backs of past have recently been just destroying the NFL. I think Najee Harris got, no matter where he goes, if it's not Steelers or something, he's going to be a great running back.
Addition
if
to
the
the
Steelers are able to pick him up
absolutely.
at 24th, I think that's going to be one hell of a steal in the first round. Because we haven't seen a running back. This will be the first one of the draft. If it follows what we predict, this will be the first running back. To me, which would be insane that the first running back goes only at 24th.
I mean, do the Jets have a running back that?
I could see the Jets taking one of the two running backs in front of Pittsburgh here as well. So I mean, maybe Pittsburgh doesn't get Najee, maybe they get Travis Etienne. But I do think that Pittsburgh will take a running back. It will be one of those two. I mean, if you roll through all of these other teams, you can't find a team that really actually needs running back that doesn't need quarterback, right? I mean, Jacksonville needs a running back, but they're not going to take one of these guys at one. They got to take a quarterback, right?
The other needs outweigh the running back need.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dallas has got Elliott. You got, even if Denver couldn't make up their mind at 9, they got Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay. I mean,
even in Dallas, like the two second running back in.
He's irrelevant. You can't even think of his name.
But I mean, like Pittsburgh has Benny Snell from Kentucky still in the second spot, but he's not breaking through. He's a great complimentary running back. He's one of those guys he can go out there for a couple downs to give
the
RB1 a break, stuff like that.
Tony Pollard is his name, by the way.
If Pittsburgh gets Najee Harris, that's going to be
scat back boy.
That's going to be a steal, and I'll probably going out and buying a Harris jersey almost immediately.
DHgate, you gonna get you one?
I'll DHgate it with you, baby. We'll just put a word together. So
to be able to lock that bad boy down for 4 or 5 years would just be wild.
The thing about Najee,
it'd be insane, Steelers fan. It'd just be wild.
The thing about Najee Harris, I want to go on record saying this guy will be the next Derrick Henry. I mean, that's kind of what Nick Saban wanted because Derrick Henry was leaving the same year that this guy came in, and he was like, "All right, well, shit, just throw this
that's a reload. That's just a reload.
I'll just throw this other 230-pound running back into my set." And I mean, this guy has more versatility, can catch the ball at the backfield better than Derrick Henry can.
And Pittsburgh loves utilizing that. We saw that when we had Le'Veon Bell and everybody. We love dumping out to a running back.
I'll say this: if you want that running back, it needs to be Travis Etienne. But I think that Najee Harris will be a better running back, can stay healthier, has that bigger body, has that bigger build. Looks like another version of Derrick Henry. So, and Alabama running backs have been hit or miss. Eddie Lacy was terrible. Trent Richardson was terrible. But you got Derrick Henry.
Well, I would say Eddie Lacy started out all right. Trent Richardson started out all right.
No, Trent Richardson was bad from the go.
But then either way, all right. And I'm not saying great.
No, he was
good.
bad. He was bad. I mean,
I wouldn't say he was bad. I'm with Adam on this one. I think he was all right.
He's got a career average of under 3 yards a carry. He was bad. He was Ray Rice. I mean,
I think he was.
Women.
Yeah. But anyway,
he did go to Cleveland, so I don't blame him for that.
But Eddie Lacy had a good couple years. And then just said, you know what? I'm not worried about my health anymore. I'm just gonna
gain all this weight.
Yeah.
Eddie
Lacy, if you're watching this, we'd love to have you on the show. You'd fit in with the Beer Bacon Bros.
Yes. But Najee Harris would be absolutely ecstatic if this happened. Pittsburgh needs to make this happen. If somebody wants to try to trade out earlier, we should jump up and get it. I
don't think you need to. I mean, that's it. I agree with you 100%, and I'm not a Pittsburgh fan. Just want to be clear about that. This would be an absolute steal for the Steelers, having literally just let James Conner walk away.
Yeah.
If you got one of those two guys at 24, holy crap. I mean, that's a steal. But there's just nobody in front of you that needs running back. And that's
more than another position. Yeah.
They're not dying for running back like we really are.
The Jets could take it. The Titans have Derrick Henry. The Colts have 3 freaking running backs. The Bears, I mean, they got Perry. What's his name? He came from San Diego State a couple years ago. I mean, Washington could probably take a running back, but they're probably not going to. They need a lot of other things. Miami could take a running back, but Probably not going to. I mean, and a lot of other things. So it just doesn't. I mean,
it doesn't fit for another.
It doesn't
team
really fit for another team. It would be a surprise if somebody took running back before Pittsburgh did at 24. And there's two really good running backs that are first caliber.
I mean,
running
Pittsburgh
backs.
has needs. The offensive line's getting a little bit older.
Yeah. Quarterback of the future.
Quarterback. I think they're banking on the quarterbacks we've already got, which it's okay. Give those guys another year. Receiving core is not really that hurting. I mean, maybe a few spots here on defense, but I mean, honestly, if you answer the running back question immediately in the first round, you can fill all those other holes with the second, third, fourth, and fifth.
It makes you, if you get Najee Harris at 24, it makes you a team that really has a chance for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be completely
I'll have
honest.
to take Devin up on his bets about how Cleveland's going to sweep the Steelers this year.
If you get Najee Harris, 100%.
Yes.
100%. All right, so on to 25, so we can move a little bit farther on. Jacksonville sitting at 25, another team that we talked about has 2 first-round draft picks. 3 of those so far, as far as I can remember. You got the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Dolphins. But Caleb Farley, a lot of people end of the college football season said that Caleb Farley was the number 2 corner behind Patrick Surtain. People got to see J.C. Horn a little bit more. They got to see Greg Newsome a little bit more. Caleb Farley is not – he's got a big body at 6'1" and 7'8", basically 6'2".
6'2". Call him 6'2".
Yeah, basically 6'2", but he isn't very physical. Like he could, if he puts on a little bit more weight when he gets in the NFL and they work with him a lot in the gym and they get him on the practice field, just being a little more physical.
You can get him up to 210.
You can. It just is. I think sometimes a little bit of football is a mentality standpoint. Like
yeah,
he doesn't
so, but you have to mentally make him become more aggressive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you don't have to be hands on at the line, but can still lock a player down,
it can work for you.
Yeah. Like if I don't have to jam you at the line and I can take my step or two back and kind of then either work in or I'm not going to let you beat me deep. But if I can work in back, I'm a lot better running in than I am trying to chase, either backpedal or try to chase somebody down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this guy actually is on the same level as J.C. Horn. Personally, if I watch his tape and see his skill set, I think this guy is a great one-on-one corner for Jacksonville. They need this pretty bad. I mean, they need to replace Jalen Ramsey. They have been trying to find somebody that can do that since they let him go. And if Caleb falls to him at 25, if you're a Jaguars fan, you got to feel good about that. You get Trevor Lawrence, and then you get a number 1 corner. Your team starts to shape up a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course, I reached out to our relative Cleveland Browns fan here at 26 and said, hey, Christian Barmore is the guy that we're seeing. 4 of the 8 have said that, he's going to be the guy that Cleveland drafts at 26. How do you feel about it? Instantly, it's not who Devin Collins wants, because Devin Collins is a general manager of a NFL team, and there's just no way that it'll happen. I really hope Cleveland. Just personal spite. I really hope Cleveland takes this guy. Like as much crap as Devin's giving me, I really hope Cleveland takes this guy. If Cleveland does take this guy and he lines up in the middle of Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, they might have the best defensive line in the NFL. I mean, holy crap, Christian Barmore. Extremely athletic, 6'4", 1/8", 310 pounds. This dude is extremely athletic at that size too.
Oh yeah,
he's very versatile inside. He can slide from a 0 to a 1 to a 3 very easily in your defense. I mean, this guy is a pass rusher. He's a run stopper. He's got a huge body. He's actually only 20 years old. I mean, he's pretty young.
Oh, he's a young buck. Then.
He came out of high school under 18. So this dude. I mean, the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland should be happy with this pick.
Cleveland should be very happy with this pick. I do agree with what Mr. Collins was saying and saying that he'd rather see them fill at safety. Obviously, he hates Sendejo. I mean, he's really hates Sendejo. They could fill it at safety. They could get them another corner. They could improve their offense. Their offensive line was really great. They could improve it at the center position.
I say, because speaking of that, either is it Leatherwood? The other
Alex Leatherwood is the offensive tackle from Alabama, but you're thinking of Dickerson, the center.
Yeah, no, Leatherwood was who I was also thinking of. He played guard.
He played guard early on, but he slid to left tackle this.
But yes, Dickerson is the center. But Leatherwood was just a guy I remember seeing on like watching games. 65, I think it was his number. He was just like the biggest body that I saw always out there on that right side of the Alabama line.
Alex Leatherwood is really talented. Dickerson is actually who they're projecting Pittsburgh to take in the second round, which would replace Marcus Pouncey as and would be a great pick for them. But yeah, Alex Leatherwood is another offensive tackle that will probably either go late in the first round or early in the second round. So, can you imagine? Like 5 years ago, we'd have said that Cleveland Browns might have the best defensive line in the NFL.
Everybody would have laughed at you.
Everybody would have laughed.
Yeah, they've really turned it around the past 5 years.
Literally every.
Like I'm kind of okay with like Devin talking crap about them beating the Steelers and stuff because it's like
because they have
I can just respond back with just like it took them long enough.
I'm about to say they have finally.
It was bound to eventually happen.
After having 15 years of the first or second pick.
Yeah,
you should be able to put a team together.
Yeah.
But 27 overall, another rival of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, an extremely talented team, got a great defense, great offensive line. They did just actually trade. Was it for this pick? No, it's not for this pick. Sorry. They did actually just trade Kansas City for their right tackle in Orlando Brown. So Kansas City has a new right tackle that is 6'8" and like 255 pounds or 355 pounds, and regarded as one of the best run blockers in the NFL. But Baltimore needs wide receiver, and everybody has shown a couple of different wide receivers. Kadarius Toney. It was his name escaped me from Minnesota for a second there, but Rashad Bateman from Minnesota. So you have a couple of wide receivers. Obviously, we saw a bunch of them go early, and this is kind of like the second wave of the guys coming through. But Kadarius Toney is a guy that they think, or at least most of them thought, that Baltimore would take. Really kind of an inside slot receiver. He's not an X or a Y. I mean, he's not somebody that can step outside and play on the bigger corners. But Lamar Jackson is not somebody that really throws to those receivers anyways.
I would say because he's just as tall. I mean, hell, Patrick Surtain was 2 inches taller than this guy.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain was, and Patrick Surtain, had to play on when they played.
I think it's gonna be rough for this guy to have a career. He'll probably bounce from team to team, just being a slot guy.
I mean, yeah,
he's going to have to be like the next Julian Edelman or something like that.
He kind of is. I mean, he's
going to have to follow Edelman's work ethic and play type and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, he is really essentially the Danny Amendola, the Julian Edelman, the you name it, Chris Logan, like whatever. I mean, anybody that you can think of that's kind of that inside slot receiver, third down, kind of get open guy.
Cole Beasley.
Yeah. Yeah, Cole Beasley, actually. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's really a fair assessment. I mean, that's kind of when you watch his tape, that's kind of who he is. So, New Orleans Saints picking 28th. People think that they'll go corner if a Farley or a Greg Newsome actually falls to them, but I don't think it will, just from looking at all the draft picks. So, this was another thing where, I mean, the New Orleans, if they really don't believe that Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill can be the quarterback, would maybe move up and get somebody that they feel good about. But right now, a lot of them showed Terrence Marshall Jr., who is the other wide receiver from LSU. Marshall actually sat out this year at LSU. It was just Jamar Chase. And actually, sorry, I need to flip that. It was Jamar Chase, not Terrence Marshall that sat out. Terrence Marshall did play this whole year. And at 6'2.5", 205, I mean, he's the biggest body receiver that is of that higher caliber. So, and for New Orleans, I mean, you kind of need it. I mean, you have Michael Thomas, and you don't have really anybody else.
I'm saying him and Alvin Kamara can only do so much.
Yeah,
as far as in the receiving game.
So would this guy could easily go to Baltimore as well if they wanted kind of more of an X receiver. So Zaven Collins is actually the person that Mr. Devin Collins wanted Cleveland to take. I don't see it. It doesn't fit their scheme. This guy is that rush outside linebacker in a 3-4 set, 6'4 3/4, 266. You talked about it a little bit earlier with Micah Parsons. This is the guy that kind of fits that scheme that you're talking about. There's a little bit of issues with players like this where it kind of has to be the right scheme.
Yeah.
For an NFL team. The Packers have that 3-4 scheme. They need a pass rusher. God forbid they need Terrence Marshall. I mean, they need Kadarius Toney. They need a wide receiver more than any freaking thing. But this is who people got saying. I mean, this is somebody that the Packers really, really like. And this dude.
But are they going to turn around in 5 picks, pick again in the second round?
Would Green Bay?
Yeah. Like, do we know where they pick in the second round?
I would imagine they probably pick 29th in the second round as well, or 28th in the second round as well. So,
I was about to say, because I mean, unless they made some kind of trade deal and they got an early second round pick to where they can go and get this rush outside linebacker and then almost immediately turn around
and take a wide receiver. Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't sure what their possibly second round pick was looking at.
I could look it up for a second, but Xavier Collins is well regarded as the guy that is the literal best pass rusher in this class. I mean, it obviously has to fit a scheme for you, but I mean, he is very, very well regarded as the best pass rusher by all means. So if you fit that 3-4 scheme, if your team fits that 3-4 scheme, be praying that you get Xavier Collins, because this dude is really, really good.
So Green Bay ain't even in the damn top
Green
60.
Bay's at 62, which they have, Taven Wallace picking from Oklahoma State. So they do have a wide receiver for you. But like I said, Pittsburgh, they showed Landon Dickerson, center from Alabama. Wonder who Dallas has. Dallas
D tackle.
Oh, they talked about Christian Barmore actually. So
I wouldn't mind that.
He's not going to make it to you. I tell you that.
I agree with that.
The number one defensive tackle in the entire NFL draft is not making it to the second round. So, on to 30 as we wrap up these last couple picks. So I know we're going a little long on the video, but how do you say this kid's name?
Trayvon Moehrig.
Yeah, Trayvon Moehrig.
Moehrig. Okay. Regarded as the best safety in the class. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about safety earlier on. This is the kid I was referring to.
First safety, I think.
First safety,
yeah.
First safety.
First true safety.
It's a little bit weaker. This class is at safety, so you're probably not going to see somebody slide in
ahead of him.
This guy may not even go in the first round from some of the stuff that I saw. But 6 foot and 5/8, 202. First safety. I mean, the Bills need it. The Bills need a lot of defense. They could really use a pass rusher if Collins even fell. I don't think they run a 3-4, but who knows? Figure it out. Take the best player you can. And so this is kind of who we have projected for the Buffalo Bills. And then over at 31, I just talked about it a second ago, or maybe not even referenced it. I can't remember, but Kansas City made that trade with
because they got
Baltimore.
rid of Orlando Brown, you were saying.
Yeah. So this is the pick that Baltimore got back. They got multiple picks back, but this is the pick that they got back. They got Kansas City's number 31.
Have 2 first rounders.
They do have 2 first rounders, both very late. But this is
but still to say you got. I mean, to say you got 2 first round talent according to your team, you got 2 first round guys is solid.
Yeah,
especially when you're competing. A, for your division the last 2 years, and B, for a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And so for Baltimore, I mean, Jalen Mayfield makes sense. You just traded away your right tackle. Why would you not go get another right tackle? So this guy, 6'5" and a quarter, 326, regarded pretty well. I mean, obviously in the photo you see him blocking Chase Young, who Washington just drafted as the number 2 or whatever all pick last year. Yep. So it makes a little bit sense. And this was, what kind of people were saying after that trade is, hey, this is who Baltimore would be interested in taking. So
is he, I guess, the next right tackle, like the next best right tackle available?
Yeah. He was, if all the tackles that we currently have said are gone, we're going. Yeah. So, and then when you get into the later parts of the draft, there's not a lot of consistency in who people are saying taking. But for Tampa Bay at 32, we've seen offensive line. They could really use the improvement there. We've seen secondary at safety. So if the guy from TCU falls, maybe this is where they take him. And then Carlo Bateman Jr., who is basically just a run stopper on the defensive end.
Say the
spot.
Third best D end.
Yeah. So it's 6'3" and a quarter.
I guess 4th, because you had both guys from Miami.
From Miami, the kid from Michigan. I think that was it, though.
That was the only 3.
Yeah, I think that was it. So
I guess true D ends. I guess.
Yeah, and so this makes a little bit of sense for them. They weren't very good against the run earlier. We saw their name up in the top. So, they were really good against the run earlier. We saw the name at the top. So just kind of refreshes you, get you another body on the defensive line. mean, if they like one of the other quarterbacks, like maybe a Kyle Trask or the kid from Stanford, they could probably take a quarterback here that kind of fill behind Tom Brady, quarterback of the future here at 32. But they got a lot of talent. They don't really need a whole lot of things besides offensive or defensive line. So
that's what you focus on here. So,
yeah.
Well, that is the Beer, Bacon, and Bros
mock draft.
Mock draft.
Yeah, the mock draft. So
I'll be interested to see like how many of these we actually do get right.
I would be.
I've got an idea of how building something up. I know I got a little idea of what we're gonna do.
Over under 14.5.
Correct.
Yeah.
Under
14.5 are correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get cocky. I'm gonna go over.
I think it's gonna be over.
Okay.
I think we get a lot.
We need to bring back the wheel of punishment for stuff like this. Now we got video.
Yeah.
Now that we got video.
I think. I mean, you could pretty much put in the bank the first five.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I'm saying and you're saying 10 more after that.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Greg Newsome pick is pretty clear. I mean, the Jets obviously want him at 23. I think Pittsburgh will take Najee Harris at 24. I think we're probably going to be right about Patrick Surtain at 10.
But I guess what's going to kill us though is if there is some like
trades,
some last minute
trades,
draft day trades, and people moving up.
Yeah, I mean it could happen. It could happen. So, he and I will take the over 14.5. You'll take the under. How about that?
That's my plan. I'm taking the under.
All right. So, any more things for the draft? You feel good about it?
I feel good about the draft picks. Yeah, right, I think we've got to knock a good mock up there. Yeah, I think we're good. We're here at the second
two.
Yeah, second beer of the night.
Oh, I'd say crack it, not
splatter it all over the mic. Yeah, that was a good crack, though. It was a good sound.
Lord, my goodness.
That was one of the aggressive ones. I could hear your thumb drove through it. I could hear it. It was aggressive.
We are professionals, I promise. We are professionals. So
we've opened quite a few beer cans in our day.
The Barrier Brewing Company. We've done another one of theirs here recently, too.
We have. Did we try a barrier or did we actually review a barrier?
I think we reviewed a barrier within the last 3 episodes.
Okay. I'll look it back in just a second.
But this one is
as soon as I get the beer off my laptop.
Kickin' Knowledge Milkshake, Indian Pale Ale, brewed with vanilla, coconut, lactose, strawberry puree, and dry hop with Motaica, Mosaic, and Citra.
Was that English?
Yeah, it's just all of the hops. That's different types of hops.
Okay.
I know English is your forte there, Chris, but yeah, it was English.
Well, as soon as the foam calms down back into this beer, we'll actually, I'll just let Adam take the first take on it anyway. So never
turning up over there.
Never afraid of the foam, baby. Not an IPA guy either, so this could be interesting on this review.
It's actually really good.
Is it?
It is. This strawberry vanilla puree takes that little hoppy kick out of the IPA that you would typically see.
Okay.
I'm looking back and I'm not seeing.
We've recently done I feel like we did a barrier.
I think we've tried a barrier. Did
we maybe have it at Wico? Maybe.
Yeah, I think we've had one at Wico where we've tried it, but we have not actually reviewed a Barrier Brewing Company one. So.
Or either did you not write down the brewing company, you just wrote down the beer?
No, I typically write down the brewing company and then the name of the beer. So, but I'll take another look at it in just a second, just to verify.
But yeah, get you a sip of that and tell me what you think.
So this is strawberry?
Yeah, it's a vanilla, coconut, lactose, strawberry puree.
Milkshake IPA, though.
Yeah.
God, I'm not a big fan of milkshake beers because the lactose they put in it to give that milk texture.
But this is.
It's never really sat well with me.
I know we have done.
Bro, I'm with you. I'm liking that. I am liking that.
I know we've done at least 1 or 2 milkshake
IPAs.
beers.
Yeah, and they typically fall under an IPA. We've had a milkshake stout before as well too.
But yeah, I agree.
Oh, it was originally brewed for their friends at Burgology.
And where?
Burgology. I don't know. It's probably like a restaurant or something like that.
But I agree with you. Like the milkshake stout.
The lactose stuff that they usually put in doesn't really sit well, or it gives it a weird texture.
Yeah. But this is actually really good. They did a really good job with this.
Yeah, I'm looking back through everything.
Yeah, this one is good. It's a good strawberry milkshake.
Yeah, like that is a solid, like, it cuts the hoppiness, it cuts the bitter of the IPA.
The IPA is still there, but that milkshake comes in and calms it down for you.
Absolutely.
Does it bring all the
Still
boys to the yard?
7%. 7% alcohol by volume.
Bring this boy to the yard.
I'm gonna go 7.3 on mine.
7.3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a very highly classified scientific method for coming up with that score.
Was it the alcohol percent on the can?
Yes, combined with the different hops. So it was 3 different hops and the 7. So I just combined it to 7.3.
So okay, 7. Okay, all right. I feel that.
I have to kill everybody that listens to that now, though. I have to kill everybody that listens to this now because it was classified.
All right, so barrier.
Yeah, he used the Pythagorean theorem to figure out.
I think the Pythagorean theorem's on the chalkboard that's on that can.
It is. I hope that we can find a good photo for Stash to have for the can on the video. But I mean, it's a pretty in-depth can.
It's a wild can. There's a lot going on it.
All right. So Alex
7.3. I'm going 7.2. Like, I think that's 7.3's right there. Yeah, I mean 7.2 though is what I'm going with. It's right there at that low 7 mark.
Yeah.
Like, this is something I would drink again though. Like, if I was either at the brewery or if it was around, I'd probably drink this again. This was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take one more take.
I didn't even get my
well, you done gave a score. Let me get.
Yeah, but I still want my second swig in before you take it.
Goodness gracious! So, and if you're watching, guys, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We have our own koozies. We have our own stickers. We will mail out to you. So, we're doing the koozies and stickers for the first 50 subscribers to our new YouTube channel. So, if you're watching, go ahead and click that little subscribe button and.
On social media, we got Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff up.
Yeah, and you'll see, you'll see some takes on our Instagram as well as we travel and like to post to our story as we're drinking beers from different locations.
Like, as I let it sit, like, I feel like I'm getting the strawberry is what's lingering as I let that sit.
I am too. Like when I took the first take and then kind of handed it back off to him, I really feel that strawberry puree. It's not really a milkshake style flavor. Like I love strawberry milkshakes. Grew up on them, really, obviously. But yeah. So I'm not a chocolate guy, so I've always been kind of a strawberry ice cream or strawberry milkshake guy, or caramel as well. But so it really isn't more of a milkshake taste. It's really just kind of like a strawberry syrup, kind of a sugary puree that you got going. What I love about this, to go a little more in depth with it, when you see IPA, sometimes you just fear the amount of hops that are in here.
Yeah.
And did we see the IBUs on the can?
I did not see IBU,
okay,
unless it's
check for it. But there's not an overpowering sense of hops.
But even if there was, I felt like that puree vanilla kind of cut all of that. Like, you can get the hint that it's there, but that tail end of the strawberry is what helps cut it and help.
Like I just burped and I felt like the air go up my nostrils. That was IPA. Like that's what just happened to me. Hops, by what I mean by that, not IPA, but hops. And did you find the IBUs on this?
I'm Googling it.
Okay. Because I'd be kind of curious if this is even over like 40, to be honest with you. Oh, they really don't have it on the can.
No.
Wow. Put it on the can, by the way, Barrier. Where's the Barrier located out of? Did we find that either?
It's on the can. I was just looking at it.
It's probably in North Carolina, actually, I think. Am I right?
Come on now.
Yeah. Oceanside, New York.
Okay. Wow. I was way off. Sorry, New York. But yeah, I mean, it's just really got like not an overpowering sense of hops. Because if you're like me and you're not a huge IPA guy, like obviously I have to drink it for the podcast, but I don't want to be overpowered by hops, especially if you're going to bring something like a milkshake fruit style to it.
Yeah.
So and it does a great job of that. So
I don't even know if they've got IBUs listed for it. I can't find it anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know if it's even common knowledge.
All right. Well,
actually, hold on.
the secret sauce over here.
What's the one website? Is it
So I'm actually on Barrier Brewing Company.
Oh, he's going to be able to find it here. Are you 21? Yes, I am.
But yeah, I don't know. But the yes or no was cut off, and I couldn't tell which one I was clicking.
Yeah, Barrier, by the way, on laptops, we can't really see whether it says yes or no at the bottom. So we just kind of went with one and hope for the best. So a lot of awesome designs on the website.
These can designs.
They get wild. So does this have like a name of an artist on it or anything?
Not that I saw. I didn't see anything on it.
Oh. I thought they would, probably have their artist a little bit, but yeah, dry hopped with, 3 different types of hops. So it's got to have hops in it. We just don't know the IBU of it. But
dude, they've got so many beers. Okay, I had to have passed it.
Yeah, you're looking for.
Can you search Kicking Knowledge?
It's kind of, yeah. You probably could.
Okay.
Yeah, Kicking. No G. Nothing found. Sweet. All right.
So I wonder if this was like a limited series or like since you did say it was for our friends at where? Did you see that, Alex?
On the side towards the Surgeon
This is
General.
originally brewed
for our friends at Beerology.
Beerology. With the little brain logo. Looks like
Burgology.
Burgology.
Yeah.
It's a burger joint.
Oh, okay.
That's
looks like the Big Brain Theory, little Jimmy Neutron blast.
So I wonder if this was like a one-time brew that like they made for. Maybe this is like an old school style like Burger Shack, but they serve beer.
Yeah,
like an old diner style, like strawberry shake kind of.
I would love to do that one day. Like if I hit the lottery, that's probably what I would do.
Open like an old school diner.
Open a burger place that serves like craft beer, like no domestics, no Bud Light, no Miller Lite, none of that, just craft beer. Like that would be an ultimate dream for me. So anything more you want to add to the kicking before we go?
No, right. I'm good with that one. I like it.
All right. Well, obviously, awesome. Appreciate you guys watching, and make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media.